call the regular meeting to order on December 20th, 2016, Tuesday, 7 p.m. This is our last regular scheduled meeting for the year. Roll call, please.
Chairman Beniak.
Here.
Legislator Duchessi.
Here.
Legislator Wheeler. Here. Legislator Isabel.
Here.
Legislator Patel.
Present.
Legislator Kelly.
Present.
Legislator Quackenbush.
Present.
Legislator Diamond.
Here.
Legislator Whites.
Present.
Okay, could we all please stand to salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Okay, thank you very much. Please be seated. Okay. Public comment and presentation. Public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak? If not, we'll go right to presentations.
Okay, Mr. Patel, you're first.
Barbara, if you join me up here. Legislator Wheeler.
Yep, thank you.
Legislator Wheeler, during our time as elected officials, we have disagreed at times. We've had some heated discussions at times about our thoughts. What I've come to realize is that you are a person of very strong character, someone who fights for what you believe in, and I respect this. Politics can be a very difficult situations and difficult relationships. You have never stood down from difficult times or persons. You have served your constituents well over your years as supervisor and legislator. So for these reasons, and on behalf of the residents of Montgomery County, I wanted to thank you for your years of service and your commitment. Thank you.
It's been 7 great years. I'm a better woman now leaving than that came in. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Chairman Beniak.
Terry, on behalf of the legislature, I want to thank you for your service. I think really the hallmark of your time in office has been the manner with which you have conducted yourself. You know,
Thank you.
I feel pretty strongly, and apparently you do too, about the ability to get along even when you disagree on certain issues, and I think it's made a real difference. I also want to thank you for your term here as chairman. Earlier tonight, Tom Quackenbush found an old campaign pen of mine. It was from a losing effort. So I know what it's like to lose an election.
Yeah.
But I would call upon the words of Teddy Roosevelt in his citizenship in a republic speech, and present this to you so that you know that your place will never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat.
Thank you very much. I just want to say that I truly enjoyed these last three years here. I think I've made friends and have good relationships with everyone here. I did truly enjoy it. I do believe in the old saying that if one door closes, another one, opens up, and so I'm looking forward to some new adventures, and hopefully I can still, stop stop in every once in a while and check in with the legislative board. And I wish everybody the best of luck, whether they're moving on to something else or going to the new legislative board. Thank you very much.
Legislator White. I'll read the plaque so that people know what it is. This honor is bestowed upon Ryan B. Whites, Legislator District 4, in recognition of exemplary service and commitment to the duties of the county legislature and the residents of Montgomery County. Montgomery County, made of something stronger. Ryan, we just want to thank you for your yeoman's work that got the new legislature going, your hard work with the charter, our rules, following parliamentary procedure and the Robert's Rules of Order, led by example. But I think the most notable thing I know about you is that you started politics at a younger age than Chuck Schumer. I think that you learned a lot from him, because I notice you're following kind of in his footsteps.
Oh boy, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad.
So again, we appreciate everything you did for us, and I realize that you'll keep involved with the county and history and things like that. So,
Well, thank you, Roy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You know, I think it's really remarkable 3 years later. There's not a single, I'm looking at Matt, I'm looking at everybody here, there's not a single one of us that we haven't thrown down with over the last 3 years. But we're here, I think this is something pretty remarkable that 3 years later, we're all friends. We've had plenty of disagreements, but we've worked together. We haven't held grudges. We've done what's, I think, right for Montgomery County. And when I was running, I told everybody, I said, there's no shortage of problems in county government. And today I say the same exact thing. There's plenty of problems. There's plenty of problems for the future legislature to solve, working with the county executive. But I think over the last 3 years, what we've done above all else is we set a tone that we were going to work together with the county executive, with each other, for what's best for Montgomery County, to create a professional tone. And you know, I think we've got a great future ahead of us here. So thank you again.
Sorry, Tom.
I was just gonna say, that's not a problem.
Over the past 3 years, I've gotten to know you. You've brought a lot of wisdom to the board with your almost a decade worth of service here at the county government. Along with that, you bring a lot of history and knowledge of why things work the way they work. And you made it possible for a smooth transition from the old Board of Supervisors to a working two-form of government, working with an executive and a legislature. You've provided a lot of comments that have brought joy.
Front porch.
And you know, I think you'll sorely be missed. So I thank you, Tom.
Well, I don't know. It's actually been a little more than a decade, Martin.
Almost two.
Yeah, well, 15 years here, but... 16. Was it 16? I don't know. Yeah, who's counting? The only thing I can tell, I've had a lot of fun. I mean, you know, all the horse trading that's gone on over the years and the politics, which I've always loved, back and forth. But everything we've always done, in my heart, we've always done for the taxpayers of the county at the end of the day. We've always done it, you know, for the right reasons. And, you know, I can remember when Matt was first elected, we said, keep the politics at the door. And I can party politics at the door. And I can honestly say, even as a former Board of Supervisor or legislator now, there's nobody that I wouldn't go have there's a lot of battles that I've had over the years, but there's nobody I wouldn't go have a cup of coffee with. You know, Barbara and I have probably duked it out as much as anybody could, and you know what, we're friends. We're going to always be friends. You know, leaving the politics at the door, the Republican-Democrat thing, it never, what, libertarian, it never really comes down to that in this room, and I truly believe that. Yeah, maybe for the chairmanship vote once in a while it did, but when we're all, you know, in here doing our job and the work of the people, we do it for the right reason. But most of all, my wife, I would thank her the most out of anybody. I know she's not here tonight, but you know, she's put up with me for 20 plus years in different positions, and you know, I can't thank her enough for allowing me to do that along with my daughter and the rest of my family. But I'll miss all you guys. I mean, I really, truly will. You know, there was this, I'm proud of a lot of things that I've helped try to do over the years for the county, but probably the proudest for me might be, you know, when this new form of government took over and everybody knew I was against it for different reasons, not, you know, and even some of you's on the board, not looking at you, Roy, but, you know, a lot of people thought about, wow, the old supervisor's coming in. And I hope that everybody sees that at the end of the day, we did the right thing with this smooth transition, and it's worked out well. Matt's done a great job. He's going to continue to do a great job. All of you, you know, Brian's coming in with Bobby Headwell, right? Who else is coming in? Dan Wilson and Mike Pep. You know, to what I know to be very decent people who are going to step up to the plate and fill our shoes and take over. So, thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you very much for all that. Do we have any communications?
No, I can't talk to you. I'm sad.
No? You want to say a couple words or no?
No, we're keeping the meeting going. No communication.
Okay.
We'll do it after adjournment.
All right, the approval of minutes, could I have a motion or sponsor in a second?
Motion. I'll second.
Martin and Bob. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained. The acceptance of budgetary transfers, could I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Ryan, Martin, any discussion? Move it to the floor for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain. Okay, on to the acceptance of the procurement record. Motion and a second.
Who was second?
Ryan. Any discussion? Move it to the floor for a vote. Oh, question?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I did. Oh, sorry. We'll move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain. Okay, on to old business. We have a motion to remove from the table Resolution 234, resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into a agreement for broker services for property general liability and flood insurance. Can I have a motion and a second? Motion. Tom?
Second.
Ryan? Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain. On to new business.
No, we have to take it. It's on the resolution.
So you took on the resolution.
Pardon me?
It's on the formula, so you took on the resolution. Open it for discussion.
saying, you know, how's this any different than like a bond? Or we've had plenty of, I'm thinking we've had other contracts that go into the future, whether they be IMAs or contracts with firms. And if, so I guess, do you see any challenges that would block passing a multi-year contract outside of our term?
Regarding the legality, no. In fact, there are some provisions in state law that do put limits on terms of contracts, for instance, leases of county property. And in that case, the limit is actually 5 years. So to my knowledge, there is nothing that is illegal about entering into a 5-year contract.
I think I'm up to date on this, and the RFPs went out, all of the check marks were made, and usually with contracts, there are out clauses. If either side are unhappy with the situation, that those are all included.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Yeah, those are
okay.
included in this contract as
Yeah.
well.
I support it.
Anyone else? If not, we'll move the resolution to the floor.
Terry still stay out? Or is he
Yeah.
coming? Legislator Quackenbush.
Aye.
Legislator Diamond.
Aye.
Legislator Whites.
Aye.
Legislator Duchessis.
Aye.
Legislator Wheeler.
Aye.
Legislator Isabel.
Aye.
Legislator Patel.
Aye.
Legislator Kelly. Pass.
Okay, we can move to new business, right? Okay. New business, a motion to suspend the rules and to add resolution 261 through 264. You should have copies of those on your desk.
Make the motion.
Motion. Tom and Barbara second. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Okay, so those are added. All right. So on to resolutions. So we're at 245, okay. 245, resolution setting the date and time of the 2017 organizational meeting. Sponsors were Perkel and Diamond. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 246, resolution confirming the appointment made by the county executive to the Fulton Montgomery Community College Board of Trustees. Sponsors were Diamond and Isabel. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
I abstain, Mr. Chair.
Okay. One abstention. Okay, on to 247. Resolution to establish the Montgomery County Legislature as a lead agency and seeker determination for snowmobile trail. Sponsors were Kelly and Whites. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Okay, this is the one where we gotta do the work. Okay, resolutions 248. Resolution establishing the negative declaration and a seeker determination for snowmobile trail. Sponsors were Diamond and Duchessis. I'll move it to the floor for discussion. But I believe this is where we have the worksheet to fill out.
And it's part 2.
intensity of use of the land. Your recommendation?
No, it's the same use that's already existing.
Okay. Does anybody have a question on that? Hearing none, I'll move on. Will the proposed action impair the character or the quality of the existing community? Your
Again, no,
recommendation?
the existing trails are already in those two areas.
Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, I'll move on to number 4. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area, CEA? Your recommendation?
No, neither of these exist in the
Any questions? 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or the affecting existing infrastructure of mass transit, biking, or walkway? Your recommendation?
No, same level of traffic.
Any questions? On to number 6. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate the reasonable available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Your recommendation?
Not
town of Charleston. I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 250, resolution of amending the 2016 operating budget, road machinery fund. Sponsors were Diamond and Whites. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 251, resolution amending the 2016 operating budget, county road fund. Sponsors were Kelly and Whites. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 252, resolution amending the 2016 operating budget, public works. Sponsors were Diamond and Whites. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 253, resolution authorizing county executive to sign a renewal agreement with Safety National for excess workers' compensation coverage. Sponsors were Patel and Diamond. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? I'm sorry, I didn't finish the resolution, did I?
We did.
Oh, yeah? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
This is, okay. Resolution 254, sneaking in there. Resolution authorizing the county executive to sign a renewal agreement with HM Life Insurance Company of New York. Sponsors were Patel and Diamond. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 255, resolution authorizing the county executive to sign insurance renewal agreement, sanitary district. Sponsors were Kelly and Diamond. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 256, resolution authorizing the county executive to sign the agreement with Cornell Cooperative Extension. Sponsors were Whites and Isabel. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Against? Abstain. One abstention.
Pass.
On to Resolution 257, resolution authorizing the county executive to sign the agreement with Soil and Water Conservation District. Sponsors were Kelly and Diamond. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Okay, Resolution 258, resolution authorizing the county executive to sign the agreement for Office of the Aging. Sponsors were Kelly and Whites. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 259, resolution approving the abstracts of audited claims. Sponsors were Kelly and Whites. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Against? Abstain.
Pass.
resolution authorizing county executive to sign the agreement with General Code Data Processing. I have a sponsor in a second. Ryan, Tom. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 263, resolution amending the 2016 operating budget, Physical Handicapped Children's Program, Department of Social Services. Motion and a second. Roy?
I'll second.
Barbara, move it to the floor for discussion. Pardon me?
I can't hear the question.
Oh. Would you repeat the question?
Is all of that going to be expended this year?
That's for, yes, that's for Queen said.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, typically that can't be budgeted accurately.
Right.
Because you don't know how many.
Right. Okay, I understand.
Okay.
It's reimbursable.
I believe that gets us through to the end of the year.
I'll sponsor it. Next one.
Oh, Roy and Barbara sponsored, we just need to.
Okay, yeah, I have to call the vote now. I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Yes.
I'll sponsor the last one.
Resolution 264, resolution supporting and granting funds for the preservation of the historic Webster Wagner House salvage items, county legislature. Can I have a sponsor and a second?
I sponsor.
Tom and Roy. Move it to the floor for discussion. Barbara?
Yes, I think this is a fantastic resolution. I apologize that I wasn't here last year, but it was my son's first wrestling match.
You say last year.
Last week. And speaking with
I remember
legislator.
being here last year.
Yes, I was. Well, last year it was our own wrestling match. To preserve our own history is so important. And using this little piece of money, what we're going to be able to do with it is going to be great. And I'm so grateful that Brian spent the time and discussed it all with you guys. I looked at the material and I wholeheartedly support this. This is great. And I'm thankful that we're going to have it retained in Montgomery County. So, thanks.
Very good. Marty?
Where will the items be housed?
If I may, Chair.
Yes.
So I worked with the county attorney, just speaking with a couple of you this week since the last meeting. And how we structured this is that it would be a special tourism grant out of the tourism line, so that it's within the budget. There is quite a bit left in that line for this year. And it would be granted to the Mohawk Valley Collective to purchase and store the items. However, there are the recommendation of the attorney, which I think are, very worthy, and I'm going to actually recite, since these were provided as add-ons this evening. The third resolve that the items purchased using the funds granted by this resolution shall remain within Montgomery County in perpetuity for tourism purposes, and if for any reason they leave Montgomery County, are sold by the Mohawk Valley Collective, or are no longer used for tourism purposes, the full amount of $1,500 shall be reimbursed to Montgomery County. And that there'll be a contract with the collective that stipulates those conditions. So it will be stored, as I've spoken with a number of you, there's quite a bit of discussion out in the village of Palatine Bridge about what to do with the site of the Webster Wagner home, which we deeded to that photograph the property through its demolition, and the key being that we do not want to use funds for anything that may have been removed after the foreclosure process began, because any of those items that would have been removed after the foreclosure process began are technically and legally, I believe, I hope I'm not over-summarizing legally, but could potentially, Montgomery County could have a legal claim to their ownership. So we wouldn't want to be purchasing something that we legally already own. And that's, at this time, one of those items
reflect a couple minutes on, this is the first term of the legislature, and I think it's a historic moment. You know, I just want to say, before I turn it over to Ryan, we basically started, and I won't say the old board, but we basically started with a salary and the charter, and that's it. And I think we came a long ways to where we are now. And I'm very proud of that, and I think we all deserve the credit. So, in saying that, I would like to have Ryan say a few words.
Thank you, Chair, and I won't keep you here too long. But, no, when Terry mentioned something to me at the beginning of the meeting, I said, oh God, what did we do in the last 3 years? So I was talking to some of you at the beginning and trying to think back, and it was kind of a little fun for the 10 minutes before the meeting of thinking about what we've done, what we've accomplished, the struggles we've been through. But, you know, as you all know, I think we were all probably in some way, shape, or form in a different world, though, paying attention in 2012 to see. I think it surprised me. I was, you know, I was happy about it, but I think it surprised me and surprised a lot of people that the charter that was put out for referendum passed overwhelmingly in November that year. And then the next November we had legislature and executive elections, and you know, I think both of those elections, as well as this election now, sent a clear message and tone of what Montgomery County wants, and I think they want a responsive and forward-looking and moving government. And but we came in, and you know, the one thing I remember, what was the setting when we came in? And Matt, you're gonna kind of chuckle and remember back to this. We had what, 4 months until MOSA dissolved, and we had trash piling up on the streets. But I know you spent a lot of long hours, and with your team approach, and we got solutions to that right off the bat. But
The Montgomery County Trust thing going too.
and the healthcare trust and the dissolution of the trust. But the biggest, you know, I think the biggest thing, and we had plenty of meetings, and we sat down and we discussed this at length and had, you know, some heated discussions about what does, you know, an executive legislative form of government look like. And I think what's really interesting is in New York State, there's only 18 charter counties, and amongst those charter counties, they're not all executive legislative forms. So, you know, it's really unique in that, and I know in talking to Megan, she hates when I make this generalization. I don't know, maybe she won't at this point, but that, you know, as a charter county, there are certain laws that we follow. You know, the Charter of New York, or the Constitution of New York, and certain state laws, but there's plenty of laws in a lot of county laws where we get to make that decision here, which I think is really unusual, especially in this state. It seems like so often we're getting told what to do, but in this we get to decide, and the voters of the county get to decide what to do. But we came in, as Terry said, with, you know, we had 9 legislators, an executive. I forget exactly the positions that were in each office, but it was, here's the charter, figure it out. And you know, I think we had plenty of meetings with NISAC, discussed, you know, with other charter counties, and then we got to work with new policies, an innovative procurement policy that NISAC resounded as you know, a model, an innovative model for the state, and really took to heart that those checks and balances between the legislature and the county executive, making sure that we both have oversight where necessary, but also granting the executive powers to administer the county budget and county policies as the charter states. And we strengthened the ethics policy the first year that Martin worked on, that closed the revolving door gap, and included some campaign contributions, really strengthened that up.
I didn't get it. Should have included something.
Included provisions for campaign contributions.
Tom, let him finish his last extension
all along, many of you have served in public positions before, and we're always spending too much money in New York, and I agree. But costs go up, and I think it's, we have made, I think, critical investments in outside agencies like Office for the Aging, Cooperative Extension, that are critical parts of our county. Investments in our own county government in bare bones departments like economic development that we're seeing great things come out of, personnel that we're seeing great professional items come out of, cost savings in real property insurance. And we've done this while having decreasing tax levies over the last 3 years. And that's with coming in with a large budget deficit that we came into and having this year under 1%. And I think that to me is impressive while making those investments. And that doesn't even include our infrastructure investments in emergency management radios in the new addition up at the jail. And we've worked collaboratively with other municipalities. The resolution, one of the add-ons this evening for general code, is a great, exciting project. Well, I don't know if it's exciting. It's exciting to me, but records management, collaborative effort with the City of Amsterdam, Town of Amsterdam, and Town of Florida that has been spearheaded in large part by County Historian and RMO, Kelly Farquhar, and looking forward, to seeing what other collaborative cost-saving measures the legislature and executive come up with in the future. And I think one that popped in my mind as we were discussing this evening is, more recently creating the land bank, and another collaborative intermunicipal, really original idea of having multiple counties and multiple municipalities spanning such a region, more of a rural, low-density land bank that I really hopefully, pays off well, and we don't see things like Webster Wagner House happen as frequently. But those were the items that I thought of, and what's that? Oh, the puppy. How could I forget? We started that right from the get-go, and when did we pass that? But there's, it's, Cheryl, you'll have to go back through over your Christmas vacation and see what else we missed. But, I think everybody said it, but it's been enjoyable, and it's fun to look back and see. I think we have figured out what Matt's role and what our role is. And I think that's the biggest lesson that, those of you that will be here January 1st on the legislature, I think that's the biggest thing that, you'll have to offer is, how that works. And it's really different. You're taking advisement, and it's all about communication. So best of luck to you all. And
Thank you, Brian.
We're reverend.
One I saved the best for last, but then I'll get to you. I don't want to forget our clerk, Cheryl, for her first, because of the first term. I just wanted to thank her for all her support, and I'm sure
We're not giving her another proclamation.
I'm sure I speak for everyone here that you did a good job, and we truly love you.
Thank you. And I just want to say to each and every one of you, I truly am humbled to be the first clerk of the legislature.
Yeah.
And I
also want to thank Megan, our county attorney. Though she splits the time with the legislative and the county executive, but she truly has been a blessing. I'm sure I speak for everyone here. We appreciate your service to us, and we wish, or I wish you the best in the future. Barbara?
I just want a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Bob, or Joe will second it.
Great.
Put it in the books.
Guys, can we get a